Just a few minutes ago, I got 2 phone calls. One from a guy who, the first call I take today is from a guy in Kentucky, and he said, I'm closing my business because I finally understand Atlas Shrugged. I can't do it anymore. I'm not going to have a heart attack and die. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. I'm watching my country die. No, you're watching your Constitution die, which is worse than your country. Your country could go on. Germany still was a country. What died was common sense and decency, morality. That's what died in Germany. Germany went on. That happens over and over again to all kinds of countries. We have something unique here, a constitution, one that is divinely inspired. That's what we have to worry about. We have to worry about our morality. We have to worry about our intellect, our spirit. That's one of the things when I think about him calling up and saying, I'm done, I'm just closing it down. I think to myself, there's got to be a Galt's Gulch. I believe there's going to be. I was given this from a member of the family of Walgreens who was in my office over the summer as I talked about an idea that's reminiscent of Galt's Gulch. There are people all over the country, small and big, that understand that. You don't give up. You find a place where like-minded people can gather, and the Constitution still stands. I want to tell Maria, who called me from New York. She said she came here from the former Soviet Union. She grew up in the Soviet Union. She remembered what it was like. I remember what it was like. I didn't live there, but I remember the stories, and I remember how afraid we were of communism. We have forgotten. We think socialism is fine. Khrushchev said to the American people, you are so foolish, so arrogant. We will feed you socialism bit by bit until you fall into our hand like overripe fruit. She said, I worry. I have fear now. I haven't felt fear, and I don't understand my country. No. Remember, you don't understand half of your country. Half of your country feels exactly the same way. And Maria, if you're living in New York City, boy, do I understand. Boy, do I understand. I don't go to New York City very often. I only go when I have to now because it is openly hostile. And so many of us live in cities and in areas like that where they're openly hostile to you. And we have taken it, and we have lived in there, and we've said, you know what, this is my home, and I just get along, and I won't say anything. I won't say anything at the PTA meeting. I won't say anything in my kid's school or in my business, or I'll take that sign down, or just shh, don't make any trouble. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it, and I'm not going to live that way anymore. I have a right to say what I believe. I have a right to believe what I believe. I have a right to worship God as I believe, just as they do. And I'm not trying to shut them down. That's fine. But I am no longer going to stand, and this has been one that came a while ago for me, but maybe today's the day that you'll start to feel this way. I'm no longer going to feel like a pariah. I'm no longer going to allow to be treated like a pariah. I am a man, as Martin Luther King said. I am a man, and I deserve to be treated as a man. I demand to be treated as a man. That's all there is to it. I will not comply, but I'm not suicidal either. We almost last night elected a man who was of a faith that was the only faith to actually receive an official extermination order. Look how far we've come. Nobody was even talking about that now. I am so proud of my country. And yes, Mrs. Obama, I've always been proud of my country, but last night made me even more proud that people of all faiths got together and they put religion beside and said, look at the character of the man. We can argue about religion, but let's unite on character. And they did. What an amazing American moment, especially if you really know the history 150 years ago of a group of people that just wanted to worship God as they saw him. A lot of people disagreed. But there was a political side of this, too. Most people don't know that Joseph Smith actually ran for president. He was an abolitionist. Oh, yeah, I know. Mormons hate blacks so much. He was an abolitionist in Missouri. You know, the site of the compromise. He was against slavery. And so they weren't popular for a couple of reasons. They didn't look at God the same way that everybody else looks at God, but that's their right to do it. And they also didn't look at slavery like the people did in Missouri. And that wasn't okay. It got to be so bad after they murdered not only him, but so many others, mainly the men, that the women took their children across the mountains in the snow. Many of them dug graves for their children on the open plains in the middle of winter. They dug those graves with their hands in the frozen ground and left the bodies of their children in the ground behind. And they moved to another country. But what they did was very smart. They gathered themselves. They were still persecuted, and it wasn't until last night that one of them could even be considered to run for president. I think some of that division is now behind us, thank God. We look at people at judge them by the content of their character, not their party affiliation, not their color of their skin, but their character. Amen, brother. The reason why I tell you this story is because they gathered themselves together. And I'm not suggesting that we move to another country. I'm not suggesting that. Well, I am suggesting that you move to Oklahoma. But I am suggesting that you surround yourself with like-minded people. I am suggesting that if you're living in one of these states, especially in the Northeast, look what happened when there was trouble. Look what has happened. I never thought the Northeast, I never really thought that there were that many people that would stand on their roofs or on their broken down house and scream for FEMA, and then like a threat say, if they don't come, well, then we're just going to organize ourselves and do it ourselves then. All right. That's not a threat. That's what you should be doing anyway. That's what we've always done. That's the spirit of America. Find your Galt's Gulch. Find it. Find it. Do not give up. I know what it takes to put a business together. I know how tired you are. Believe me, I know how tired you are. I'm tired too. You know what? We'll catch a nap when we're dead. Right now, let's really live. Right now, let's make sure our children have freedom. Let's not be afraid, and let's not cower. Let's gather together. Let's build, let's create, let's move forward. Let us live the Constitution. We win in the end. I'm telling you, we win in the end. Yesterday sucked. Today sucks. Tomorrow and maybe even a few years are going to suck beyond belief. But someday we're going to be happy. Someday it'll all work out. I don't know how much I actually really can hang on to that idea. We need to be by each other's side and lift each other up. When one of us is down, the other will be strong. And we need to teach our kids what America always has been and make sure that we're creating a culture of goodness and decency and honor and integrity and invention and exploration and all of the things that we actually still believe but is not being practiced anymore. It will not go on to our next generation through osmosis. They must experience it. They must witness it. They must be a part of it. Find your place to instill it in your children beyond a history book. Let them live it and experience it.